Join me today because I'm so excited to tell you about how conflict can help us get clarity in our relationships. I'm Judy Herman, helping leaders and families create connection beyond conflict. I do need to let you know, and probably something that I don't need to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, this is not a substitute for counseling or professional counseling services. This is educational only, but I have some ways that you can look at conflict and have some insight about conflict that is as simple as ABCs. I use that, ABCs, so that you'll remember, but it's not simple, of course, but it'll be a simple way to remember how to get insight about conflict so that it actually can give us clarity in our relationships. Here's what I first of all do need to clarify, because I was thinking about this after I was practicing what I wanted to share. By the way, hi Sid and Riyadh, glad that you're joining me. But what I wanted to first of all clarify that there are three types of conflict. So the type of conflict that I'm talking about would be considered blips in your relationship. And blips are things that are like minor annoyances, they're part of everyday life, and it's no threat to the relationship. So that's the kind of conflict that I'm addressing in this video right now. A level higher than that, which you probably could also get some help from, is knowing the difference between blips and clashes. Clashes are blips that simply just accumulate. They're repeated arguments about the same thing over and over again, but you feel less cooperative toward the other person, in kind of developing less trust in the other person. So if that's what's going on and that's escalating, we need to make sure that you don't take things away from this thinking that, these things are gonna fix that. Also, you may need a therapist at that point, but this for sure does not address what you consider crisis. Now, crisis type of conflicts are when you are actually fearful of emotional or physical harm. So this doesn't apply to any of those things. This is more about how to deal with blips and how, and also just clashes while they're starting to escalate before they escalate. This will probably help. So the ABCs that I wanted to share with you that is very helpful. First of all, so I'm just going to go through that. A stands for your attitude about conflict, and B stands for your breathing through conflict, and C is curiosity. So remember, ABCs stand for attitude, breathing, and curiosity. First of all, I just wanted to share something else about the dynamics of relationships, and this has nothing to do with personalities, and I do want to get some feedback. So I would like for you all to be brave enough to share what you might be after I explain these different relationship dances. So when we show up in conflict, some of us will show up as if we're turtles. So what a turtle does is they avoid conflict at all costs, and they hide in their turtle shell. They just want things to be smooth in relationships. So usually turtles are married a lot of times to tigers. So tigers are the ones that roar in the midst of conflict. They want to be heard, they want to be understood, and the more that they roar, then the more that the turtle wants to hide, and this gets overwhelming for the turtle, and yet for the tiger, it's really scary because they're feeling abandoned. And so these are some dynamics that show up, and again, it doesn't have anything to do with personality styles, but has everything to do with how we handle conflict. So if you would be so brave to share in the comments, are you more a tiger in conflict, or are you more like a turtle when you're in the midst of conflict? Now, some of you may say, well, I'm actually both. Or some of you may say, well, I'm neither. But if you could say whether you're a tiger or a turtle, that would be really cool. Because I think, honestly, I'm more of a tiger. You probably figured that out. But what I wanted to share was how to even these dynamics, because when we have this tiger-turtle dynamic going on, this dance in a relationship, then we have this, what you call pursuer-distancer. So the more that the tiger pursues, the other person distance themselves. So rather than showing up as partners and learning and growing through conflict, we have this dynamic that is so could destroy the relationship. So the 3 C's that I'm talking about when it concerns blips, those kind of not crisis but blips, conflicts, our attitude can make a huge difference, because if we avoid all the time, then we're not going to be learning some things about ourselves. If we open up ourselves and say conflict can be a message to our souls individually and also help grow the relationship when we stay in it, and we have this attitude of that it's okay to have conflict. In fact, conflict is actually necessary for growth. It's necessary for understanding ourselves, and it's necessary for growing the relationship into a deeper level. So secondly, conflict, breathing deeply, breathing in deep breaths of air. It happens often in my counseling office that, of course, people come in because they are in the midst of conflict and they can't get beyond it and they want some help. But a lot of times when couples are across from me and I'm helping them to do some deep breathing and making the space between the two of them emotionally safe, they can slow down long enough to really listen. And it's not an unusual thing to have these aha moments with some long-term conflict or misunderstanding that's gone on for years, and to have these aha moments in the counseling session. And when you take a deep breath, you slow down and you know the meaning behind these reactions or why this conflict is being fed, it brings some insight. And there can be, oh, so that's what you've been meaning all along. That's what this means. So that's why conflict and slowing down and breathing can be very helpful. And then the third thing, of course, is curiosity, having this attitude of curiosity. If you show up in your relationship with an attitude, we talked about attitude, being open, but also this attitude of curiosity. If you show up with an attitude of I'm right and she's wrong, or I'm right and he's wrong, there's somebody that has to be right and wrong, and you have this dualistic way of thinking, that will keep you stuck. But if you show up with a curious attitude and figure out, wonder where they're coming from, maybe I can learn something, and maybe they can also hear and learn some things, then you can come up with this partnership that brings you closer. And of course, we all struggle, don't we? And that's why I have a resource I'd love for you to tap into, and I'm getting ready to change it. I don't know, I'm writing some more material, but go to my website and sign up for 10 ways to build trust in communication. And I also have some other resources that I'm excited to share with you that's going to help. But remember the ABCs of conflict, and the ABCs of conflict when it comes to blips, or what you would call clashes, but not crises. And the ABCs, can anybody say, oh, okay, thank you for, I love this, Tiger Turtle. We got some responses. Thank you, Sid and Rhea and Terry. Yeah, let me know what you are. And so, yes, we are the ABCs. Remember ABCs. Can y'all write ABC of conflict is attitude, breathing, curiosity, and yeah, ABC, attitude, breathing, and curiosity. So please join me. I have more to share next week. I'll show up next Thursday, but I really thank you for showing up tonight, and this is exciting. And I want to tell you more about my book, Beyond Messy Relationships, Divine Invitations to Your Authentic Self. And I have some, again, things that I'm creating, and I'm also getting ready to create a speaking page on my website because I want to get this message out, and hope that this is helpful to you. So thank you so much for joining me, okay? Talk with you later next week.